And joining me to discuss, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Alice Stewart, and CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Maria Cardona. And they also co-host the podcast Hot Mics from Left to Right. Great to have you here, ladies.
Thanks,
I think it's the first time you're here on the show together, so it's great to see you both.
Hopefully we'll do it more often.
Absolutely, we would love that. So let's talk about this. I mean, this was really the talker this morning. You had Manchin saying one thing, Bernie Sanders saying something else. Manchin saying there's no way to pass this bill. Without Manchin, I should say, there's no way to pass this bill because, as we know, a Republican will not vote for this. It's been a week since White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain said that he thought Manchin was very persuadable. It sure didn't appear that way this morning.
Well, if you listen to both of them, they are making their bargaining positions. And look, they're not going to bargain in front of the American people. That's just not how it's done. I knew from the beginning, I think most people knew from the beginning, because Joe Manchin was not shy about saying it, that $3.5 trillion was a bridge too far for him, and that he wanted to slow down. In fact, we ran into him this morning, and he said exactly that. We need to slow down. We want to be responsible. He's right about that. On the flip side, Bernie is right too. For the progressives to have come and supported the infrastructure bill and then to come down from 6 trillion to 3.5 trillion is a compromise. But here's what I believe, and I believe that both sides understand this on the Democratic side. This is our time. It's do or die. It's now or never. We need to get this done. So I think that 3.5 trillion, if it's a bridge too far, we're going to find a number that is as close to that as possible that will keep Manchin as well as keep the support of the progressives, because what we're all trying to do here is to pass something that is transformational for the American people, that will fundamentally change the way that Americans interact with their government so that everyone has the tools to not just survive, but to succeed in this great country, not just the privileged few. And you do need transformational change in order to do that.
That sounds familiar. Democrats talking about transformational change as they did with Obamacare. And if they think this is Obamacare 2.0, they're going to pass this bill without finding out what's in it. That's not going to happen. Joe Manchin is emphatic that no. And only in Democrat Washington is $1 trillion not enough money. And the key thing is here, there's so much spending in here with regard to health care, climate change, and all of these welfare programs. Joe Manchin is saying not just Republicans are not going to support this, he's not going to support that. And I think there is, based on both of the conversations that Dana had with them this morning, neither one of them are anywhere near coming off of their numbers. And for Bernie Sanders to say that he has already compromised to come down to 3.5, that's laughable. That is a lot of money on programs that we certainly do not need at this time. And I think more Republicans are going to rally behind Joe Manchin and make sure that we get closer to Joe Manchin's number and further away from Bernie Sanders and the progressive socialist agenda of the Democrats.
I would love if Alice was right saying that Republicans are going to support Joe Manchin. Republicans are not going to support any Democrat. I mean, come on. I would love to believe that, Alice, and Republicans should listen to you. I always say that on our podcast and on our segments, but that's just not the case. Republicans are not going to support Democrats in this. But this is why I fundamentally believe that they will come to a deal, a compromise. When you are that far away from something, but when you both fundamentally believe that this has to happen, and I think that they do, then we will come to an agreement. Because if we're able to get this done, Pam, imagine we might even have majorities after 2022 in both the House and the Senate, and imagine what more we could get done for the American people.
Well, and that's the key, is they have to get something on the books for 2022 where they have nothing to run on. We have all of these issues with COVID on the rise, crime on the rise, the economy in the toilet, the abysmal withdrawal from Afghanistan. Democrats have nothing to show for the fact they're in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they have no checks in the win column. They really have to come together on this spending because it's going to be a really big problem in the midterms if not.
Yeah, I mean, 2022 is hanging over everything, right? Yeah. And also for the Republican Party, you know, who is leading the way there? I want to talk about this new CNN polling that shows Republicans and Republican-leaning independents say 63% to 37% that they're okay with Trump as the leader of the Republican Party. But when asked if he should be at the top of the ticket in 2024, 51% said yes, yes, and 49% said no. It's just, look at that. I mean, look at how his popularity has waned since 2019, when more than 3/4 of Republicans thought he was an advantage to the party. Now that's half. So, Alice, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells you he's an advantage to the base of the party, and he still has strong support amongst the base, and we need to keep that. But rational-minded Republicans understand that politics is a game of addition. We have to grow from that. We have to keep the solid Trump supporters on board, and we also have to go out and do what we can, focus on policy and not personality, and persuade the people that we lost in 2020 election and get them back on board. And we can do so. I think it's really important to keep Donald Trump with regard to the base of the party, but there are many people out there, not necessarily in this poll, but realize we need to get back to the core principles of the Republican Party: limited government, national security, and individual responsibility. Those are the policies that will help grow the party, and that's where we need to focus if we're going to do well in the midterms. And that's where many people in the party, on the ground, in the states, are focusing.
I mean, Tim, you have Joe Biden with his lowest approval ratings. Yeah, what does he need to do to get back on track?
It's interesting that you say lowest approval rating. He's at 52%, which Donald Trump never, ever, ever dreamed that he could get to that point in 4 years. So yes, his approval ratings have gone down, but let's look at what he has faced. He has faced a deadly pandemic, the first virus, and then over again with a Delta variant that burned through the country. He has faced a sluggish economy. He has faced pig-headed Republican elected officials and governors who do not want to follow the medicine, who do not want to follow the science, and they are doing everything that they can to, frankly, not keep Americans safe. And it is their actions that are keeping the economy from really jump-starting. And you have, yes, the withdrawal of Afghanistan was chaotic, but he also kept his promise to the American people of ending the 20-year war, and he will get a win for that. He will get a win. Democrats will get a win also for passing the American Rescue Plan in the face, again, of stubborn Republicans who refuse to join Democrats on any of this. You look at that poll, and I looked at
Let's put up the poll right now. It's a CNN poll, so I just want to, you said 52%. The CNN poll shows 43% to 51%.
Okay, so there was another poll that showed that he was at 52%.
Right, so
that was also, I think it was also, the CNN poll had him at 52% approval. But hang on a second. So the crosstabs of the CNN poll had all of the top issues for Americans. It was the coronavirus. It was the economy. It was climate change. It was racial unrest and social equity. All of those issues are issues that would be dealt with and fixed with the infrastructure bill and this reconciliation bill. And that's why I think you have Republicans that are so wanting to go against Democrats on this, because they understand that it's the Democratic agenda, it's Biden's agenda, the one that is in line with the vast majority of the American people.
The problem is throwing money at all of those problems is not going to fix it. And the president can't say the buck stops with me and blame it on Republicans. The more concerning crosstab out of that poll is amongst independents, who he needs to keep. His disapproval rating with independents has gone way up, over 50% since this last poll, and those are the numbers that are going to be really concerning to him and Democrats.
That's true, and independents actually are incredibly important, but we have over a year and a half, and then again, when Democrats are facing Republicans who refuse to disavow the big lie and want to support the insurrectionists that attacked our democracy, that is not a good place for them to be politically.
And by the way, I just want to note to our viewers, we have a special coming up at 8 p.m. on efforts to subvert democracy that you won't want to miss. Alice Stewart, Maria Cardona, thank you, ladies,
Thanks,
and we
Pam.
hope to have you back soon for sure.